The meaning of life. Philosophers answer. Why am I here? What is my purpose? Why should I care about anything, if everything is destined to end? These questions are as old as humanity itself. From Socrates to Buddha, from Camus to Tolstoy, some of the greatest minds in history have been haunted by them, and each tried in their own way to answer, what is the meaning of life? Let's begin with one of the most powerful examples, the Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. The crisis within Tolstoy seemed to have everything: fame, wealth, respect, even a loving family. His novels War and Peace and Anna Karenina remain towering achievements in world literature. Yet after the age of 50, something broke inside him. He began asking the same questions that philosophers across time had wrestled with. Why life? Why existence? Why death? In his essay, A Confession, he admitted that sleep became his only escape. For in sleep, the torture of questioning paused for a few hours. At his lowest, he confessed that he even had to trick himself into not ending his own life. This was not just Tolstoy's struggle. It was philosophy's oldest wound, lived out in one man's heart. A parable of existence. Tolstoy once reflected on a parable that perfectly captured this human predicament. A man is chased by a wild beast. In desperation, he jumps into a well, only to see a dragon waiting at the bottom. Clinging to a branch, he notices drops of honey on the leaves. Even in danger, he tastes them. For a brief moment, he forgets his doom. This is life itself. Above us, the beast of suffering. Below us, the dragon of death. And in between, fleeting drops of sweetness. Philosophers from Epicurus to Camus have offered different answers to this parable. Some saying, enjoy the honey. Others warning that it's just distraction. Tolstoy wrestled with all of these perspectives, the search through philosophy and science. Like Socrates, like Buddha, Tolstoy sought truth in philosophy. He devoured the wisdom of ancient teachers, but instead of peace, he found despair. Many philosophies, he thought, ended in one chilling conclusion. Perhaps it would have been better never to be born at all. Science, too, gave him no comfort. Darwin's theories of evolution, while powerful, only deepened his sense of cosmic meaninglessness. If humans are mere accidents in an indifferent universe, how can life have purpose? Knowledge brought clarity, yes, but no peace. 4 ways people cope. Looking at the world, Tolstoy noticed 4 ways human beings respond to life's absurdity. Paths echoed in philosophy across centuries. Ignore it. As Camus later suggested, many simply live without overthinking. Eat, drink, laugh, and say, so what? But once awakened, ignorance rarely lasts. Indulge in pleasure. Like the Epicureans taught, fill life with wealth, beauty, and enjoyment. But for Tolstoy, this was just honey. Sweet, but fleeting. Give up. Some, overwhelmed by absurdity, see suicide as the only exit. Tolstoy came dangerously close to this path, but rejected it as destruction, not solution. Resign in limbo. Neither rejecting nor embracing life, merely existing. To Tolstoy, this was the weakest choice of all. None of these paths gave him the ultimate answer, the turning point. So where did Tolstoy finally find light? Not in books, not in science, not in wealth, but in people. He looked at the peasants, the poor who lived with unshakable faith. Despite poverty, loss, and endless hardship, they carried a quiet conviction that life mattered because God was real. This shattered Tolstoy's assumptions. Here he was, rich and respected, drowning in despair. Yet they, with almost nothing, lived with strength and peace. It was then that Tolstoy realized Reason alone cannot give meaning. Something greater was needed, faith as the answer. Though he never fully embraced Orthodox Christianity, Tolstoy found peace in a personal spiritual faith. For him, faith was not blind obedience. It was a trust in the infinite, a strength that gave purpose where philosophy and science had failed. He simplified his life, gave away wealth, served others, and at last discovered what philosophers across centuries had sought. Not perfect knowledge, but a reason to live. Tolstoy died at the age of 82, no longer tormented by despair, but at peace. The philosopher's answer. So, what is the meaning of life? Philosophy shows us that there is no single answer. For Socrates, it was wisdom. For Buddha, freedom from suffering. For Camus, defiance against absurdity. For Tolstoy, faith and humility. Perhaps the meaning of life is not one universal truth, but a personal journey, one where each of us, like Tolstoy, must face despair, wrestle with the void, and then decide, what will I hold on to? Above us, the beast. Below us, the dragon. But in between those drops of honey, faith, love, service, beauty, resilience may just be enough. That, in the end, may be the philosopher's greatest answer. If this touched your heart, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. So together, we can keep walking this path of wisdom and meaning.